Picture this. It's a cold October night in 2011. You just got home from school and you're waiting for your siblings to finish their homework so you can get on the computer. You sit down at the TV and lo and behold, it's Halloween time. You didn't even realize yourself, but you knew because your favorite TV shows told you so. Whether that's Hauntober, Monstober, Nickoween, or Halloween Spooktacular, there was no mistaking it. Along with movies like Halloween Town, Twitches, and Night of the Living Fred, I guess, there were Halloween specials for all of your favorite shows. My name is Ben, and that kid was absolutely me. I couldn't wait for Halloween each year. Going out dressed as something really stupid was always a great chance to have a little fun, and the candy was of course an added bonus. That wasn't the only reason I loved Halloween though. Each year seeing all of my favorite Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network characters encountering something spooky made my life one step better. It's funny how the little things did that. There are so many kid shows that most of us loved growing up. Zack and Cody, Wizards of Waverly Place, Zoe 101, SpongeBob, Good Luck Charlie, iCarly, Hannah Montana, Gravity Falls, Drake and Josh, Victorious, That's So Raven, and many, many more. The shows I watched were mostly spread between the three major channels, Disney, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network. However, it is widely known that many of these shows, especially the sitcom-esque Disney and Nickelodeon ones, followed many tropes and cliches when it came to plots of the episodes. The one where the main characters get locked in a certain place until a known time. The one where the smart one and the dumber, edgy one disagree about something or take a test, and the dumber one was right/did better. And the one where the main cast finds out that one of the characters is really desperately in need of money, and they all work together to raise the money or pitch in to get them something. The list goes on. The point of me bringing this up is that I had a theory that many of these popular kid shows did the same copy-paste of major plot points in their Halloween specials. Now, for some weird reason this year, I seem to have a little bit more time on my hands. Because of this and an overall lack of spookiness in my day-to-day life, I watched several of these famous and infamous Halloween specials, and many of them also seem to follow a trend. The trend is simple. Halloween is approaching, and our lovable bunch of wacky protagonists are ready to do something spooky. They end up going to a spooky location, or choose to set something spooky up themselves. Eventually, the scare-o-meter goes up, and even the one who didn't believe in the spookiness gets scared. After lots, and I mean lots, of screaming, the true source of the spookiness is revealed, and it's almost always some sort of prank or misunderstanding. After the misunderstanding has been resolved, and very importantly, there's a tease at the end hinting that there was actually something supernatural going on. Now let's walk through a couple examples so I can show you what I mean. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode is probably the best example. It's called The Ghost of Sweet 613, and it's etched into my mind. When I was little, I feel like this episode was on all the time, and it's actually a little scary for when you're that young. The idea of the episode is that the twins learn from London that there is a suite in the hotel that is haunted. Zack wants to go see the ghost while Cody is scared. They decide to make a bet that the first one that leaves loses. Over the course of the episode, all of Zack's friends get brutally murdered by the ghost. Out of understandable fear, Zack runs out of the hotel room and learns that their buddy Arwen was behind the special effects to make it all possible. At the very end of the episode, Cody goes back into the room to try and find his blankie. He then finds a very nice lady who gives his blankie back. It is then revealed that that lady was a ghost and she walks into a painting. This is the cookie cutter Halloween episode. All of the other Halloween specials that I watched went over some point of this plot. Well, that is, except one. Here's a quick and very crucial side note about The Sweet Life on Deck. Because of how cookie cutter their first special was, I really thought that the Sweet Life on Deck one would just rebrand it and send it back out. But no, it's actually crazy. So the ship is stopped at Dead Man's Rock, and Zack has to write a history paper. He is then contacted by Ghost to his computer that he was framed for sinking his ship out of stupidity when he was really sabotaged. Throughout the episode, Zack, Cody, and their weird friend that I don't remember the name of go around and try and hunt this ghost, even though it's the good guy. It's the good guy. It's one of those ones. Zach ends up just seeing the ghost standing there and then has to play charades with it to learn that his compass was sabotaged by his first mate to try and marry his wife. It just so happens that the historical society happens to be on the ship at the same time, and Zach then recites to them what he's learned, and the history books get changed. At the end of the episode, a giant ghost ship just pulls up next to the ship, and it's like a thumbs up wink moment where Zach is like, I did it. I successfully met a ghost and didn't freak out about it and didn't think it was a big deal. So, yeah. Oh, also, in one part of the episode, they do mention that they saw a ghost in Suite 613, and I thought that was nice to have a little bit of continuity in my ghost-filled Zach and Cody lore. Alright, never mind the sweet life on deck. Let's get to the next show. Now, unlike a lot of these other Halloween specials, I actually really like this one. Drake and Josh has, of course, a special place in my heart, and it's actually funny, unlike a lot of these that are just pure cringe.
Last month, she put kitty litter in my sneakers. Did you know she signed me up for the Mexican army?
Also, like the Sweet 613 episode, I've probably seen this episode of Drake and Josh more than I've seen any other episode. They just played it on repeat during Halloween season. So let's see how it fits in with the cookie cutter. Drake and Josh are both mad at their little sister Megan for trying to touch their stuff, so they try and make her believe that she is getting contacted by aliens. Over the course of the episode, they sabotage her telescope to make it see a UFO, make radio signals that are saying alien words, and eventually get fully dressed up as aliens to freak her out. Here's where the cookie cutter comes in. After they successfully prank her, they hear noises in the backyard and go to check it out. They see a real alien come down and get completely freaked out and a lot of screaming. It is then revealed that this real alien is actually just a man named Bob. But it still counts. On to our next one, we have Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. The first half of this episode is pretty tame. Ned, Cookie, and Mose are just trying to set up a party for everyone. It's that simple. However, when it gets back from commercial break, it's just in an entirely different universe, where Ned is a real vampire, and he's taking his BATs at school where he's gonna fail. Mose is a real ghost, and Cookie is a real werewolf. At the end of this episode, it's revealed that this is all a dream, which is kind of a cop-out, but sure. This almost hits none of the beats of the cookie cutter, and I was so proud of them for not doing it. And then at the very end, they just had to tease a real ghost mouse when he woke up. The next show I watched was iCarly. I have very fond memories of iCarly growing up. Maybe it's just because of everything that came out with Dan Schneider, but I was pretty disappointed with this episode. Almost none of the humor hits at all, ever.
I'm home! I never left!
When it comes to plot, just like Zach and Cody, there's just happens to be a haunted room in their building that they go to film their web episode. They end up getting locked in because of course they do, and the lights get stuck off. And they run in the closet and they see clown faces and blood is everywhere, and then they realize it's all just a misunderstanding. And it's some old lady's house, and everything has an answer. It ends up being pretty tame and pretty lame, but still had to hit some of those points of the obligatory cookie cutter episode. And now we have the best of the Halloween specials, in my opinion. It's kind of cheating, but I'm gonna have to go with SpongeBob Graveyard Shift. First of all, it's actually funny. Second of all, the plot is more interesting, all while making fun of the normal tropes. The first one of the points that they hit is the idea of one person being scared and one person not being scared, and that would be SpongeBob and Squidward. Squidward makes up the idea of the hash-slinging slasher and makes fun of SpongeBob for being scared, but in the end gets more scared than SpongeBob when the guy shows up. The other great example that I know we all love is Nosferatu showing up at the end, which is the little supernatural tease that it's making fun of, which is just great. Steven Hillenberg was truly a genius, and it is terrible that we lost him. I'm glad you all could join me on this little trip. It's funny how some of these little things like Halloween specials made me so happy back then. Even if they're basically all the same episode. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribe. Hello? Oh, hey Nick, how's it going? What do you mean lock up? I thought you were home. If you're not home, then who's making all that noise? Nosferatu.